welcome once again to another episode of Eclectica, the Different News. As you all know, that we bring in experts from different areas of science, technology, healthcare, finance, marketing, entrepreneurial stories, and more. So today I have a fascinating person with me. He is Mr. Shorit Chakraborty, and I was lucky that he has been my batchmate also during my post-graduation studies. So I know Shorit from long, and his journey is fascinating. And today he will be telling us so many important things on blood transfusion and its applicabilities and its scenario in India. So before calling in Shorit, I will just introduce him to you all. So, Mr. Shorit Chakraborty is presently the Senior Manager Applications and Quality Assurance at Hemogenomics Private Limited, Bangalore. So, Shorit is a multifaceted manager with cross-functional leadership role in covering operation, scientific affairs, and quality assurance. He has over 16 years of experience in the fields of transfusion transmitted infections and molecular diagnostics of infectious disease. So with that, I call in Shorit in the studio. Uh, Hello, Shorit. Hope you are doing well. And how are you?
Hello, Gargi. How are you? Firstly,
I'm good.
I hope in this time you and your family safe and staying home and taking all the precautions. And I
Yes.
just wish you and your audience a very healthy and safe time in this situation.
Thank you, Shorit, and thank you so much for joining me today. And I think it will be a very good session with you because the thing that you will be enlightening us today is on blood transfusion. And I think we all know that blood transfusion is one of the most important aspects in like pertaining to our medical science. So I would just like to understand from you that in perspective of our country, that is India, what is the exact status of blood transfusion in India?
See, I would say in last 15-20 years, India has made real good progress in its blood transfusion status. Currently, we are in a year collecting almost 11 million blood units, and we have made the paid blood donors, we banned it, and we are increasing every year. We are increasing our percentage of blood collected from voluntary, non-remunerated blood donors. But the real issue right now is the actual decentralized nature of our blood banking system.
Okay.
In India is a vast country, we all know, and its requirement in a year is around 13 million blood units, but we collect 11 million blood units only. So there is 2 million units blood gap every year. But the
Okay.
decentralization nature means we have more than 3,000 licensed blood bank in India, in every shape, size, quality. Everyone has their own protocol. So basically what we are lacking right now is a centralized body which can
All
regulate,
right.
govern all the blood banks, so that there is a quality standard in blood bank operation, and the blood units which have been transfused, there is a standardized quality. That is what we are lacking.
Okay. Okay, Shorit. So that was wonderful information from you. And like I was while introducing you, I saw that you have an expertise in transfusion transmitted infection. So basically, we abbreviate it as TTI. So what is exactly this transfusion transmitted infection? If you can just tell for our viewers and also for me.
Yeah, sure. So we all know blood transfusion is one of the most important aspects of medical science. There is no substitute of blood. There is nothing called synthetic blood or a medicine which you can take in case you need as a replacement for blood units. No, there is nothing. We need to have blood for our medical procedures only from human beings who can donate the blood. But at the same time, each blood unit's donation, there is a risk of different infections. So what happens is blood is known to transmit infections like HIV, hepatitis B, hepatitis C, HTLV, malaria, syphilis, etc. Now every unit of blood, that's why, need to be tested, screened before we transfuse the blood to a patient. In India, currently we are, the government of India made it mandatory to test every unit of blood for 5 tests. Those are HIV, hepatitis B, hepatitis C, malaria, and syphilis. These 5 tests are mandatory. But even after performing the mandatory tests, sometimes we find that there are cases of contaminated blood still being transfused to patients, and patients who are coming for some medical procedure or to get cured in hospital, because of this contaminated blood, they get life-threatening infections like HIV, hepatitis B, hepatitis C, etc. So these are the risks of unsafe blood transfusion.
All right. Sure, so there are certain, are there any drawbacks of this conventional testing of, as we are mentioning about, are there any drawbacks of conventional testing of these TTIs or transfusion transmitted infections? And what would be, according to you, or what is the latest news in the field to mitigate the risk of TTI?
So yes, currently in India we are doing the test mainly by immunoassays like serology, chemical assays like ELISA or chemiluminescence. These are basically tests which detects the viral induced antibodies or antigens. And the drawback, yes, sometimes they miss to detect certain infections, especially if the infections are in very early stage, which are called window period infections. But world over, for last almost 20 years, there are a lot of progress in terms of developing new technologies which can mitigate these risk of TTIs, mainly nucleic acid testing, and recently we are also having some technologies called pathogen inactivation techniques. So these kind of new technologies are now available throughout the world, including India, to mitigate the risk of transfusion transmitted infection through unsafe blood.
Okay, so you mentioned about nucleic acid testing. So NAT, I guess we abbreviate it that way.
Yeah, that's
so,
right.
What is NAT? I mean, can you explain in a more lucid way, so that, because we have a very versatile audience. It is not only like people from our scientific or healthcare fraternity, but this is more for public awareness. Eclectica is all about that. So maybe if you can explain us in a more lucid way, it will be very useful for me and also for our viewers.
Absolutely. So nucleic acid testing is a technology which directly detects the virus genes, mainly the viral RNA or DNA. So it's a direct test. It does not depend on body's immune response, which takes time to produce antibodies or antigen after an infection. So one person gets an infection, the person's body takes time to produce enough amount of antibodies so that those conventional testing technologies like ELISA can detect those infections. Those are indirect tests. But whereas nucleic acid testing or NAT is a direct method of detecting directly the viral RNA or DNA. So even if very small amount of viral RNA or DNA is present in the body for an infected person at a very early stage of infection, within 2-3 days, it will be able to capture those viral RNA or DNA. Then
that's fantastic.
It will synthetically outside the body in the machine, it will be multiplied to billions of copies. There will be amplification, and then those amplified products will be detected by various means, so that at a very early stage of infection, when the body has very small amount of these infected particles, that time also it will be detected. So to bring it into perspective, for hepatitis C virus, the serological tests like ELISA or chemiluminescence assays takes around 2 months after infection to detect. So the body start producing the antibodies against the hepatitis C virus maybe after almost 2 months or 60 days. In comparison, nucleic acid testing can detect those infection within 2 to 3 days of infection. So what is happening here? If we are using only the serological tests, a person unknowingly comes into contact with hepatitis C infection and gets infection. The person will remain asymptomatic for a very long time. So the person will
Absolutely.
not know that he or she is hepatitis C infected. So that person goes unknowingly to blood bank, donates the blood within that 60 days window period. The conventional tests will not be able to detect. So the blood will be deemed safe, which is a false negative result, and the unsafe blood or contaminated blood, because of this misdetection, will be transfused to a patient, and the patient will get that infection, which is a very unfortunate. Now here comes the nucleic acid testing. From 60 days of window period, it can detect within 2 to 3 days of infection of, for example, for HCV. For HIV, it can detect within 4 to 5 days, compared to conventional testing may take 20 to 30 days after infection to detect. So this is how nucleic testing is uh, changing the scenario of TTIs and making our blood almost near to zero risk.
That is fantastic information that we got from you, Shori. So, is it like there is only one type of nucleic acid testing, or there are many types of nucleic acid testing? So, are there different types? That is what my question is.
Yeah, so there are different technologies. World
All
over,
right.
there are two technologies which is approved for blood screening of nucleic acid testing, which is PCR and TMA. But more than that, the methodology is different. Some blood banks uses a technology called mini pool, a process called mini pool, where they mix multiple blood donor samples and test as one test. And some blood banks uses individual donor NAT testing, where they test every donor unit sample as separate tests. So what happens in mini pool testing? It's not actually an ideal method, because you are mixing multiple donor samples. So if there is a infected sample in those mixed pool, it may sometimes reduces the sensitivity, reduces the concentration of viral particles in the mini pool sample, and also there are some other operational challenges. Whereas individual donor testing, you are actually detecting the sample as it is without any dilution or any compromise, keeping the sensitivity intact. So I would say the individual donor NAT methodology of doing NAT is the ideal method.
Okay. Okay, sure. So, what is the scenario like taking up this net? As I understand that it is a very useful method for TTI screening. So, what is the Indian scenario, or rather, maybe if you can highlight both the global and Indian scenario in adopting these nucleic acid testing for TTI screening?
Yes, so in today's world, almost 70 countries using nucleic acid testing to safeguard their blood supply. In India, the nucleic acid testing was introduced in the year 2006. Till
Okay.
date, India, the penetration of nucleic acid testing is slow, because government has not made it mandatory. It's still optional.
Oh.
Uh, so I would say out of 3,000 blood bank, only about 150 blood banks are using routinely nucleic acid testing, uh, which is only about 5% of Indian blood banks. And
Okay.
among 11 million blood units, only about 7 to 8% blood units are getting tested by nucleic acid testing in India. The this is the basic current scenario, but there are organizations and premium institutes, hospitals, blood banks, they are trying to increase the penetration of nucleic acid testing. Also government is supporting. They are not discouraging to do nucleic acid testing. They have made it optional. So slowly this testing is increasing penetration in the country.
Okay, so but as I understand from you that nucleic acid testing, should be kind of a universal adoption for TTI, because it's a very pinpointed, and with less time we can identify whatever we want to. So we do not put a person. And when we talk about blood banks or getting blood from a blood bank, we are actually talking of someone's life. So, what, according to you, are the probable challenges that, which is restricting the universal adoption of nucleic acid testing in India?
So, as I told you, the decentralized nature of Indian blood banks is the main issue here, because there are very large number of blood banks who are small. Maybe it is difficult for them to have infrastructure, train manpower, and have the instruments, etc. So what we are trying here is we are trying to create a system of centralized nucleic acid testing center, where every district or some of the cities will have 2 or 3 main testing center, where everyone can send samples there to get the all the blood banks of that vicinity can send samples, get nucleic acid testing without investing in capital cost and manpower and all. And currently states like Karnataka, Rajasthan, Odisha has implemented this centralized nucleic acid testing center. Also corporate hospitals like Fortis Group has really done very good system to have centralized testing center, so that many blood banks who are maybe small in size but quality conscious can send their samples and get nucleic acid testing done for their patients and blood donors very easily.
Okay. So I think that was a fantastic information, and many of the things which we were not aware of, we came to know from you. And particularly, I was very fascinated to know about this nucleic acid testing to identify the TTIs or screen the blood. And I think, as you said, that with the evolution of the centralized system, slowly things will change, and things will go towards betterment. So, thank you, Shorit. So thank you for joining me again today at Eclectica, and I hope in the future we will have more sessions with you regarding this kind of fascinating areas that you have been working for more than 16 years now. So thank you so much for joining me today.
Thank you, Gargi, and once again, stay home, stay safe.
Thank you. Okay, so that was Shorit Chakraborty from Hemogenomics Private Limited, and I guess you all have enjoyed and got a lot of information regarding the scenario of blood transfusion in India. I mean, particularly in identifying the TTIs, or how the screening should be done of the blood even when we go to the blood bank. What are the risks, and how slowly India is coming up with such wonderful technologies so that we are safe, and the patients who are critical in the different hospitals, they are safe when really the blood is required to get from a blood bank. So with that, today I end Eclectica's episode here, and you have to be here again with me in another episode with another fascinating expert. Till then, goodbye.